Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast episode 703. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Yo, yo.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 703 of the Moviecast. All right, guys. How you been? Good. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm happy I
Excuse.
wasn't because we didn't get back till about 9-ish, 9:15. I think we got back because we went ice cream and everything. So
Okay.
I wasn't certain what the plans were, but yeah, guys. So it was a hell of a week I missed, unfortunately, with the Microsoft stuff. But you guys covered it pretty well, and we got to see. So put up or shut up, and like great show. But let's see the actual results of what they.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just starting with that. I don't care. But anyways, guys, this is the movie cast. As Tony just said, let's talk some stuff. Let's talk some box office because we have a box office to talk about. We actually do. Inside Out 2, 154.2 million opening weekend.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pixar.
Box office.
Don't call it a comeback.
No, you can call it a comeback.
Yeah,
That's
Pixar
several
is
bombs in a row.
Yeah, Pixar is definitely back, and it is.
That's impressive. I did not expect it to do anywhere near that number.
No, I didn't
No,
think so.
and apparently that missed expectations too. Like
Lower?
it was like within
This
like
is-
800,000 projected.
No,
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah,
second
well,
biggest
projected.
opening for Pixar.
I know. Projected though,
And
people were saying numbers
Projections
projected.
are
It was
getting
within.
a
I know.
little out of control lately. but
Listen. I'm going by what I read. Everybody was posting.
official?
It's not.
I didn't read that.
Disappointing. It's not disappointing at all. It's not. It met all theirs, but according to the projected launch, it was going to be
Who?
1.5.
Disney's official?
No, this is like deadline and everything like that. I don't know what Disney's official is.
Oh, but the heck? Well, you're
it
talking
missed
about
its expectations.
they don't have any skin in the game. They're just
No,
throwing
but I
numbers.
think more or less it was about the strength of Friday and how it fell off too much on Saturday and Sunday. But it was. We'll see how the legs are for this weekend too. Very impressive. Like 154, like setting records, like you guys said, set records. And Disney needed this. Disney needed to win pretty bad, and I think they got it pretty good.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
yeah. Excellent weekend. Bad Boys Ride or Die at 33.8 million did pretty well. So
That
great.
has actually done really well too, considering.
Yeah.
That's over 100 million
Well,
total
yeah.
now.
Don't Will Smith don't call it a comeback?
I think he could actually, because I mean, we talked about it even when he did the slap. Like, is this going to end his career or whatever like that? But
No, this
appeared to
is
have, done anything.
no, this is maybe he gets his name back into some more movies now on this. He was the hot name for a while, remember? So
Get
we'll
Will
see.
Smith's name out of your mouth.
just
It was
just
I'm
I'm
trying to-
his wife's name.
yeah. No. I'm trying to keep. I'm trying to remember what the box office. I had the stats open. I closed them. It was basically not just Pixar and Disney records. It was a box office record, at least for this year, for the most income from a box office. So that was, So that's for a weekend, obviously result. So that's excellent for them. Good for the theaters. Yeah, for the
What are
weekend.
you talking about?
No. So.
We're
All right,
halfway
so
through
that-
the year, yeah, cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're moving along here. This usually by now we had a May movie that probably set these records, but we didn't have that this year.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no,
We'll have it next week too with the.
we will. I mean, that's what. Let's talk about that real quick. Deadpool Wolverine projected for over 200 opening, right? We're looking at like 230 maybe.
I could see it
I don't know about
approaching 200. Well,
I mean, we're still like 4 weeks out, right? I think. Or
Yeah.
3 now, whatever.
Yeah, they're in that 200 to 230
About
window,
4
which is a big window.
well, it's the 20 something? 20?
26th, isn't it?
Oh, so we're still like a full month out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's.
I think we're a full month out.
The projections are less accurate the
Optimistic.
worse you get, or the farther you get out. So.
Yeah,
you know,
it'll
depending on the
rein
marketing,
itself in,
Yeah,
but
but I mean,
yeah,
that's
we'll
still really good.
that movie is going to be more about how the second week drop off works, whether how much in the billions it gets, in my opinion. Honestly, it's going to matter about the
It's
drop.
an R-rated movie too, so
So, yeah,
it does hurt it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's still probably
Yeah.
gonna be the highest rated R movie.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. So that I you can't argue that it will be the number one R-rated movie of all time, probably.
Yeah, and it just got picked up for official release in China too.
Oh
So
boy,
that'll help
there you
the
go.
worldwide numbers. It's definitely
There you go.
gonna hit $1 billion. If it doesn't hit
Yeah.
$1 billion, nothing's hitting $1 billion this year. Well, maybe I'm sorry, Minions 4, whatever the hell.
Minions 4 will.
Whatever it is.
Despicable.
Yeah.
Inside Out 2, Inside Out can do it. It depends on.
It might now with
'cause-
the legs. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
worldwide.
it seems wide open worldwide.
Worldwide was like 300, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
a
it could do it.
Yeah.
And especially with kids movies drop offs, like they usually have better legs. So we'll see where that ends up, but it's on a good track for that. So yeah. Let's see. I don't think anything's really opening next week, is it? Not really. Open weekends for them. See, that's a good hold coming up. See, good holds. So we don't have really much. Quiet Day, A Quiet Place, day 1 is June 28th, but I don't think that's going to do that well in the theaters. That's just me. So,
I mean,
all right.
I think it'll do well, but we're just talking about a horror movie, right? Relative to
Yeah,
I mean, it's easy to make your money on a horror movie.
I enjoy those films. I like the two of them that they made, but this one, I'm not expecting them to do extremely well. Like you said, I just don't expect them to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about like $1 billion or anything.
No. Yeah. Then July 3rd is Despicable Me 4, so that'll be the new launch. Yeah, the new records being set. All right. Let's see here. What have we been watching though, guys? What did we kick us off? I'll kick us off actually. Watch wise, I've been very busy with housework and I focused on to finish up my games, but I did watch a movie called The Founder, which was the Michael Keaton movie about McDonald's. I liked it. I don't know. I really got into it. It's the story of the formation of McDonald's, essentially. Yeah, Ray Kroc. I don't know. It was on my feed suggested, and I was like, you know what? I kind of in that mood to watch it. It had, it's like I said, it follows the two brothers to create the 30-second serve system, it's like, how he comes in and has these great ideas. He's a failing salesman, and he has these amazing ideas to take the thing franchised, and he basically just buys out the company eventually from them because they're too conservative with what they want to do. They want to keep it small. Does this sound like McDonald's? They want to keep it small, quality control, and have a strict menu. Doesn't sound like that now. So you can see who won. But so there it was. I thought it was a good movie. He's not a likable guy. So he's really not. No. And but
most
he's not.
People aren't. So
yeah, he's that. And they tried to make it sympathetic with how he starts out, but you're like, this guy's not a nice dude. He just like basically stole the company from these two. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was interesting for me because it was like contracted base for them. They had him sign a contract, and he just said, "I don't care. You could bring me to court," and they never did because they couldn't have the money. They didn't have the money to sue him. Yeah, that's what happened. So, all right, that's really I think it for Delicious in the Dungeon. I watched the first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. You guys talked about it enough. I'm like, you know what? There it is on my feed. I'm going to check this out, and I enjoy it. Yeah, I actually recommended it to a guy I bowl with. Actually, it was like we were talking about anime, and I'm like, because I said the stupid thing where I said nice Bleach shirt when he was wearing Naruto, and I was like, I like 20 minutes later, I was like, whoa, I'm so sorry, man. I just realized what I did. Yeah, and yeah. So then we got talking about anime a little bit, and I said I just watched Delicious in the Dungeon, and it's surprisingly entertaining. Like, I don't know what it is, just really fun. I enjoy it. But so that's really it for me.
You haven't
really.
been watching Acolyte?
Oh, Acolyte I watched. That's right.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Acolyte.
3 episodes.
All 3 episodes. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The last episode for me, I didn't enjoy that much. The first 2 episodes I really liked a lot. I thought the third one was definitely the weakest of it. Definitely the more out there storyline, I guess, but you can't have every banger episode. As long as it bounces back next episode, it's not a terrible episode.
How many
it's a
episodes is it going to be?
Foundation episode. I think there's 8. So 3 is very
still early.
Prequel. Like they're trying to get more backstory and build a foundation. And I just, people were like up in arms over it. And I was
halfway point should be a good one.
It got some.
Right?
Yeah, did anybody watch this one?
No,
it should be. Yeah, halfway point should be the takeoff. But if like the first 2 episodes I loved, and the guy from Squid Game, that actor is phenomenal. Like he is awesome, and he learned English for this role essentially.
Yeah,
You know, he and his English is excellent. Like it's so good. Like I mean, it's amazing how fast people can learn English these days. I'm like, way more bilingual than I'll ever be in my life. It's impressive, and he does a fantastic job. The acolyte character, and the twins. It's well done between that drama of things, and it's just interesting. It's like I said, it's really interesting to see a new kind of story. Like I said, it felt like Andor. I think I talked about this in the previous episodes. It felt like the closest thing to Andor because it's a fresh story, but it definitely had a down of an episode here. So trying to build its backstory. That's what happened. So that's it for me. Tony.
Let's see, a couple things. One was I watched this anime called Baki.
Okay.
It's like a fighting, but it's so ridiculous. Like trying to think of how to describe it. So it takes place in the real world. So they reference Japan, America, all these other countries and stuff like that in the modern day setting. It's about obviously fighters from all around the world trying to be the strongest, and they start fighting and stuff like that. But the escalation gets so ridiculous where like they do the most absurd things. And this arc, I guess, I started apparently in like the middle of like a story because I was just like on Netflix and I just started Baki because somebody recommended it to me and I just started watching it. Apparently this is like season 3 or something like that, and they're on this thing called the prisoner arc where like these 5 prisoners across the world escape their respective prisons and meet up in Japan to like determine who's the strongest fighter among them and stuff like that. So like they start fighting and it was like whatever, like martial arts, street fighting, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden like they pull out these like ridiculous things where there's like weapons, like straight up like the one dude has like blades installed in his like arms and stuff that he can activate by like clicking his fingers in certain configurations and stuff like that. Or this one dude just like is the master of like hidden objects and stuff, so like he'll pull bullets out. He shoves them in this one dude's face and like hits him so hard the bullets explode. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? It is so ridiculous and over the top. It's kind of fun, but like you gotta like absolutely just be like, yeah, there's no realism in this at all and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous. And like the one thing that like absolutely was just like a Twitter thing where it's like the main character, his name is Baki, that's why it's called that. He's like a Japanese high school guy, and he's trying to of course become the strongest, and his dad is currently apparently the strongest fighter in the world or something like that. And so he's like towards the end of his high school years, he's macking with his girlfriend and stuff like that, like literally like they're like, oh, tonight we're having sex and stuff like that. So they're in their place and they're like, getting it on and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, like, Baki feels a presence and he looks up. And his dad is just suddenly in the room, just watching them fucking, like, second, third base. And he's like, what the fuck? And his dad is like, yeah, Baki, like, don't worry. Like, if you have desires, they're not going to make you weak. You should actually satiate yourself on this woman. And, like, he looks to the girlfriend and is just like, don't let him consume you and stuff like that. And he's just like, what? What? Like, and like he just leaves. He's like, yeah, just take out all your urges you can, blah blah blah, become a beast. And it's like, all right, Dad, thanks, and just like pieces out. So it's pretty ridiculous. And I watched something else inconsequential. If I remember it, I'll bring it up later. But yeah.
All right, Corey.
I had some time, so I actually watched some anime as well.
Nice.
Netflix, there's one called Hell's Paradise. And I heard about it before, and I was like, oh, I gotta find this. And I was like, oh, it's on Netflix. This is cool. But it's about like this main character is like this shinobi who's been outcast, and he's pretty indestructible in a way, and you kind of see that initially, but they call him the Hollow because he's just hollowed out. There's nothing there anymore. There's no human left in him. But the idea is there's this like elixir of life, and there's this island that the elixir of life is on, and they send people to go find this elixir of life, but nobody ever comes back. And if they do come back, they come back like with all these flowers like growing out of them. And so like they sent 60 people out, and one person came back, and he had like all these flowers, and he was dead. So what they did is like, oh, let's get all these criminals. We'll get these criminals. We'll send them out. Look for this elixir of life for us, and so we'll find the strongest criminals we can. And so the Hollow guy, he got captured, and he was kind of he was trying. They were trying to execute him, but they couldn't execute him because he's just pretty much indestructible. So they bring these Osman, they call them, the samurai, that they go around looking for criminals, and they bring them in, and then they have like this little try out to see who can just go out and do this, and then they'll have the criminal and then the Osman samurai that they'll go in a pair, and there's like 10 of them, 10 pairs that go to this island, and there's the hijinks that happens on this island, and it gets really gruesome, like very, very bloody and dismemberment stuff and all that kind of thing. It's like you have like these monsters on the island and stuff like that, and like the mystery of what's going on there and all that stuff kind of unfolds. But it's very, very interesting. It's like I said, it's very gory. Kind of had it reminded me a little bit of Attack on Titan with because the monsters are really big, and so like and then the way that they just take people out, and this like nobody seems safe as well, which is neat. And so it's that, and then the main character Hollow is basically kind of learns like he needs to survive and get back to his family or whatever, and his Osman, his samurai lady that's with him, kind of teaches him that, and he teaches her to be stronger as well because she's like the only female one of the group and stuff. So it's been good though. I would recommend it. Hell's Paradise, I think it's called.
New?
I think it's fairly new.
Fairly?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I was like heard about it a little while ago, but not much before that. It's like the manga. I think
I've heard too much about it.
Yeah, but like it's like because I was gonna read the manga, and then I was like, oh, it's on Netflix, cool. But I was on a flight, so I was like, oh, I just downloaded it all.
Right.
And watched it there. So yeah, pretty cool.
Cool. All right, let's get into some movie news, guys.
Yeah, Mike's internet lost Mike's internet.
Yes.
Yeah, so
yeah, Mike will hopefully be back shortly. He's dropped connection, so we'll say. Let's go into the news. Sony Pictures has acquired Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. It's the first major Hollywood studio to own a movie theater chain in 75 years. So they actually went out and bought their own theater chain. Is that a good idea? I guess that's where we're at with theater chains, right now?
I don't remember if this was one of my bold predictions this year. I forget.
Yeah. I think it was.
I don't know.
So.
Sounds like in that vein.
I mean, whatever. Like, I think I forget if it was last week or the week before, but I was saying like something about the business model has to change. It absolutely has to change. And if that's like, hey, a movie studio is buying up a movie theater company, and they can figure it out, great. I don't know what that changes, but
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how this helps anybody really for that in that industry. It may help like the consumer side, like short term, because they're gonna obviously not obviously, but they're gonna probably try to get back on their investment and put some effort into keeping these theaters out there and stuff. But at the same time, who knows?
I mean, the thing is, right? And let's just compare this to video games, right? And so if you listen to our Gamecast, we talk about, I think I mentioned like 2 weeks ago or whatever like that, where, it's great that Sony and Xbox and Nintendo, they all want to sell their video games and retain as much of that profit as possible. But the real moneymaker these days is getting that 30% cut. So anything that you sell on the eShop, the Xbox Live Store, or the Xbox Store, or the PlayStation Network, they just get 30% of that, no matter what. Like, doesn't fucking matter. You buy a cosmetic on Fortnite, something off of Minecraft, Apex Legends, whatever. They just get 30% of it just because, hey, you bought it from our store, right? We own the store.
Yep.
And I'm kind of wondering if you can do that with a movie theater now, right? Where Sony's just, they're like, hey, well, now any movies that we show at Alamo, like, we're getting 100%,
bigger
right?
percentage.
Yeah, bigger percentage. Not exactly 100, but we'll just throw 100. Like,
sure.
They don't have to.
I mean, at the end of the day, yes, you're right, 100%. But they have to break it into their
right.
Gotcha.
So it's just like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then now maybe because Sony has their own brand of theaters, now they're making the 30% or whatever that number is for movies off of all of these other movie companies, profits. I don't know. I mean, I obviously, like, things like employee wages, rent, all that stuff has to factor into it. But I imagine Sony has some kind of plan if they invested in this. Like, it just seems like a weird idea if they don't have a plan.
You have to assume there's something there that they're like, all right, this is worth our investment, even though we see the signs. Like, they have to see the signs. Like, this is not profitable, and we're not making money, and these theater chains are not making money. Like, how is this going to make sense? So if they're investing in it, then yeah, I'm interested to see what they're
and the big thing is Sony again is one of the few that like are not in that streaming service war, right? Like they were just like, you know what, this is not for us because there's too many fish in this pond. Netflix is gobbling about half of that, so fuck that. So for them to be in the movie business, like the theater industry, I don't know anything. But speculation, like they have to, I hope, have a plan to be like, actually, we're gonna try something here.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe. So, all right.
I don't know any Alamos in my area, but
no, they're mostly like
Midwest?
Texas area, Midwest. Yeah.
There was one by you, I thought. Or is it there, Tony?
I don't think so. Last I looked. Wait, when I looked this up, Alamo Draft
I
House.
thought there was. I thought there was one PA.
I didn't think so. Oh, there's one in New York, Yonkers. But I know there's one I was looking up before. There's Winchester, Alamo Draft House, Crystal City. Yeah, that's south. I don't know. There's a couple. There's a couple in New York. A couple in New York. Yeah. I mean, they're like Sinopolis. They're kind of in a lot of places, but not a lot of locations.
I know that there's a board game company. They were owners of Alamo. So.
Interesting. Yeah. No. None here. New York. It's the closest one I've seen.
Interesting.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Zack Snyder has a director's cut of Rebel Moon already coming out.
Whatever. Sure.
August 2nd.
Sure. Good
what was the original? Like, what didn't he have like full freedom to do what he wanted with that movie?
I don't know, man. Just make the movie you want to make the first time. Like, I don't get this. Like, people make movies themselves without doing director's cuts, and I understand there's usually the studio handcuffs. I get this, but you can still make the movie you want to make.
Make this PG-13. Make this, whatever. But
like my thing is he's with multiple studios now, and you're telling me that all studios are the problem then? Because like that's what he's saying essentially.
When you move to Netflix, you'd think that they would give you the freedom to make the movie you wanted to make. Like that's the whole point. You do that, I assume. But
no, these will be rated R. Coming out August 2nd, Chapter 1. Also with a new title, Chalice of Blood, and Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness.
You watched this first one, right?
I watched the first one. I never watched the second one. I'll probably check it out at some point, but it's not like high on my list of movies to watch. So, all right, we talked to Deadpool and Wolverine. This was interesting today. I just saw Spaceballs 2 moving forward with Josh Gad and Mel Brooks will produce it. Somehow Mel Brooks.
Josh Gad.
Josh Gad's very much invested. He did the whole History of the World Part 2 on Hulu. So I had a feeling he had a good working relationship with Mel Brooks and his son's working with them. Mel Brooks' son, because obviously Mel Brooks has got to be 98-ish. Yeah, how old is Mel Brooks?
Man, it's really weird to me.
He is 97. He'll be 98 in 3 weeks, June 28th, or 2 weeks. What am I saying? 2 weeks. So Mel Brooks. So he's working with it at Amazon MGM. They don't have any story or release date.
I remember when they were coming out with like the rumors of Spaceballs 2, Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2, or whatever it was.
Yeah, The Search for More Money. But apparently Josh Gad wrote this with Mel Brooks as well, and we'll see what comes of it. It's gonna probably be Mel Brooks' last work, right? I mean, this has got to be it at gonna be 98. This will probably be his last film, which who knows how long it's gonna take to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know about this. Like,
I know. Sometimes you can't go home again.
Or it's the fact that it was a one-of. They didn't milk it. They didn't do anything with it. So like after all this time, now they're doing a sequel. It's just like,
I mean, look, there's a lot of. The thing is like I understand the length of time. No, but they parodied a lot of sci-fi, not just Star Wars. Yeah. And there's been so much more since that they could have parodied. There's a lot of easy low-hanging fruit, but it's that why it's been so long. Can you come home again? Can you do it again? You know what I mean? That's the problem. So
it's interesting.
Bill Pullman again, the Did I miss that part?
There's no update yet on Bill Pullman, but
just Josh Gad and Mel
Josh
Brooks
Gad's
is
attached so
announcing.
far, and he's writing it. And there's no director announced yet, but they already have a director involved. They just haven't announced them yet.
Yeah.
So
I could see it being beneficial that it's been this long because they do have so much more material to kind of pull from. But I also see the other side because we've seen it where it's like, why this does not make sense? 20 years, 30 years, 40
like
years
20
later.
years ago, like right after the prequel trilogy, sure,
yeah, that would have
been
been
a great time.
perfect timing. Perfect
Now
timing.
it's
You're
like I don't know. I mean, I'm open to being wrong, and I hope it comes out and it's a great film. It's just
Oh,
to
me
me,
too.
I'm just like
Yeah.
on paper, I'm just like,
I listen. I love a good Mel Brooks film. They don't make them like that anymore, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I know that his works that he did on like Spaceballs the cartoon and stuff was not very good. So hopefully he didn't lose his magic. You know what I mean? It's tough when you get older. I get it. It's just like I really hope it's good. I really do.
Cartoon?
Yeah, and I heard I didn't watch History of the World Part 2, but I heard it wasn't very good. So we'll see. I didn't hear much after that, so that's never a good combination. But let's go let's go ancient still, sticking to like 80s, early 90s movies. Lethal Weapon 5, given by is in production. Mel Gibson will return.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover is still listed attached. So, yeah. So it's going to be done by fifth and final installment, Buddy Cop seating. So Gibson's going to take on the director role. I don't know how that's going to work because, well, I mean, Richard Donner was the longtime director who passed away in 2021. So, Gibson's going to have to take over. So yeah, I don't know. Danny Glover's back for certain. Actually, looking at this now, but nothing about that yet. Nothing about that.
Okay.
I mean, how long has it even been since the last one?
Again, that's why I put it. That's why I put it on here because we just talked about
Jet Li was in the
Spaceballs.
last one, right?
Jet Li was in the last one.
like
Yes, that was 4. 2001.
Jesus Christ.
Was that the last time? Let's see.
Another 20 plus year.
That's why I put it on here. It came out in 1998.
Oh my
God. Came out in 1998.
We lost Mike again.
Yeah, we lost Mike again. 1998 this came out. So again, this is back to this is why I put it next to Spaceballs. I was like, this is like the weird combination of it. So yeah. I don't know. Can you do this again? Like I thought Lethal Weapon 4 was
I feel
fine.
like this is probably one of those things where like Top Gun Maverick came out and everybody's like, oh shit. We can make money if we're good.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say like the people weren't working on this, but now the studios are like, maybe we can do this. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think is happening. I think studios are more
see individuals being like, oh, this would be really cool if we could get this going again. Yeah. And now the studio's like, oh, actually, we've seen success with something, so.
They were too old for this shit 25 years ago, though.
The first movie was all about being them
too old. Not even that. He was too old for this shit. What, 40 years ago? When was the first movie?
It was 80s. It was the 80s. I know that.
Was it like 85 or something?
Yeah,
86.
Well, the second one was him was supposed to retire in the second one, right?
It was the first one he was retired. He was talking about retiring.
This is the problem. They aged up Danny Glover's character early on, and without knowing that they would make a million sequels later on, and they're like, oh, actually, he wasn't as old as he seemed in the beginning. We lied.
No, so we'll see.
I mean, we got the Beverly Hills Cop too as well, the Netflix, whatever that's.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's good. That comes out July 3rd, I think. So that's coming soon. So we'll see if that hits. If that hits, you're gonna get more and more of these things.
Yeah, you make a good point though, Tony. Like, as soon as Maverick came out, it's like now we're getting all these.
Which someone just wrote. They don't expect a third movie for a long time. I just saw. But
I mean, that's what it is though. Is like something comes out and it's mega successful. You do $1 billion, everybody's gonna pay attention, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe we can ride this wave a little bit, and
it's gonna be hard with comedies though. They did a Coming to America recently that didn't really catch on. A sequel to that.
Wasn't that direct to streaming or something though? Or
I think that was.
I don't know, but still people weren't too excited about it. That might have been a COVID thing though. You're right, but still.
Yeah.
Was it a remake?
No, it was like
a sequel.
30-something years later sequel. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that feels like I don't even know what the premise of that would be because like it's a very gimmicky thing. Like coming back to America again. So, I don't know, man.
Or was
I
it
don't
the other
remember.
way, where like his kid went to his like homeland?
I don't know. So, all right.
I
Let's
watched
talk
it.
about. Finally, let's talk about the development hell of Blade.
Mm.
Yet another director has left the project. Jan Demange has left the vampire movie, and they're gonna have to find a new director again. Uh, it's hilarious because Marshala Ali
Mm-hmm.
is playing Blade, and he commented, he's like, "I've never seen anything like this before. I've never worked on something like this happen like this. I've been signed since 2019, and then there's no movie yet." That's what he said. So he's starting to get really frustrated. I don't know
mean,
what's
they've
happening for
rewritten
this.
this. Like, the problem is, I think they like some of the leaks as far as what the script was gonna be like Blade's daughter was gonna kind of be taken over and like moving all these older
Roll, yeah,
like
Yeah.
roles out and bringing in like the younger crowd.
yeah.
But like,
I just don't feel like this is really
Not
that
great for a
important.
debut.
No,
I, just,
I agree there.
I feel like it's not really important. It's just gonna be one of those like, hey, whenever comes out, it comes out. Like I don't think it's really gonna. It's not gonna
Madam
fit to the
Web-esque?
greater. Yeah. Well, that's a Sony thing, so I don't want to.
well, I mean, if you want, I mean, it could be like in what's that Inhumans thing, right? Where it's like they
Oh
announce
yeah,
this movie, but then it never really turns out.
never really gets
to be-
out.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I don't know. I don't. This feels like they were trying to like bank on nostalgia maybe for the Blade character, which again I'm not disrespecting. The Blade movies were pretty good overall, especially being one of the first comic book movies of the resurgence, right, in the uprising. But I don't know, I'm not really looking forward. It's like cool.
It's hard to like
vampires
see like
again.
yeah, are they gonna were they trying to like bring him into like the smaller venues, like with the Daredevils and things like that? I don't know. Like, is that what this was
You gotta
supposed to
make it like
be,
street
or
level or like
yeah?
I don't know.
he's gonna be going toe to toe with
It's
like,
like
the
they
Thanos
had
and shit. I don't know.
They want the Midnight
him.
Suns after this, so probably.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean they had him. They had his voice in Eternals at the end. That's like
Did
that.
they?
it's true.
Yeah,
Who
Oh.
that was
watched
a little
Eternals?
the end sequence thing with Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ugh,
Oh
God.
my god.
So I don't know. We'll see whatever gets made. I doubt it. I don't know. We'll see. This might be one of those canceled projects, moves it right into the
Yeah.
other one. But
And it just seems like just they keep like being undecided with the script and the way
Yeah.
to go, and so the director's like,
It's
"All
in
right, well,
development
you
hell.
can't figure it out. I can't work on this." And it's like,
yeah,
so
it's
I don't know how
definitely
they're gonna
development hell
cancel
right
it
now.
at this point, because
It's in.
if they
Yeah.
haven't yet, they're not going to. I don't think, because
They really want it to happen, but
want it.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up this episode of the Moviecast, folks, though. So stay tuned. Gamecast coming up next. Once again, we're live on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. So please join us for these broadcasts live. If you don't see us live, we're over on YouTube. So subscribe to both channels. That way you get notified. And hit that notification button, too. That way you do get notified when we go live or when we post on YouTube. So we'll see you guys on the Gamecast and next week on the Moviecast. Stay tuned.